there, sales champions, and welcome back to Blackwood's Academy Sales Tip of the Day. Ever been on a call in a meeting where the prospect just says nothing? It's like talking to a wall, right? So don't worry, you're not alone. Silent prospects can be intimidating, but they're not impossible to crack. In fact, silence might be the best opportunity you'll ever have. So stick around because today we're going to be diving into the psychology of silence and how to turn even the quietest prospect into a sale. So let's dive into the psychology of silence. So how do you deal with a silent prospect? It can feel frustrating, but silence doesn't mean disinterested. It's often a sign that they're processing, skeptical, or even nervous about making the wrong decision. Understanding how to handle the silence is just another sales skill. It's a relationship building superpower. Master this and you'll turn silence into a signal to close the deal. So why do they go silent? Well, like we mentioned, they might be processing overload. They're absorbing information. They need time to think. It might be fear of commitment. They don't want to say the wrong thing or commit too early. It might also be just the silence is often used as a strategy to make you uncomfortable. It's their way of testing your confidence. We talked about this in other videos, how we can use that as well to emphasize points or have them divulge information that they might not if you talk too much. So how can it work for you? Well, look, the psychology is we're wired to fear silence in conversation. It creates tension and our instinct is to fill it, but in sales, filling the silence can weaken your position. So reframe silence as an opportunity to observe, not as a rejection. And there is something in, I can't remember the study that was made, that we give other people more benefit of the doubt or longer silence before we feel it is awkward. I think it's something like 30% or 40%. So you need to become more comfortable with silence and not fear that it is going to be, the rejection or anything else what it could be. You don't want to start making ghosts in your head and panic. So what silence really means? Well, like we said, silent, it could be a buying signal. They're weighing the options, imagining how your product fits into their life or business or what the benefits will do for them. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. Not only that, silence, they might just be, thinking about an objection. They're not voicing it. So it's your job to uncover it. And sometimes, like we said, it's a tactic. Some people use, silence as a strategical test to see your patience or see if you'll lower your offer. So recognize the context of the silence. It's the key to your response. It's just important to know why they're being silent. And you need to uncover that. So let the silence be there for a little bit. Don't make it, it's not going to be a 30-minute or like a 2-minute or 3-minute silence, but let it just rest a little bit and see if they come forward. Now, the next kind of, thing we want to look into is how to handle the silence. It is one of those things where you need to have patience, and patience is a big power in sale. If you're patient, you will close a lot more sales. If you're being too eager, you're going to scare them off. So instead of panicking, learn to lean into the silence. Give them space to think and speak first. So after presenting a solution, pause, count to 5 in your head before saying anything. 5 seconds, it will feel like an eternity the first time you do it, but when you get comfortable with it, it isn't that long. So after asking like a key question, does this solve your challenge? Stay quiet. Let the, silence pressure them to respond. Count to 5. It isn't that long as you think. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. It isn't that long. And it's going to feel forever if you're eager or desperate. But if you're confident in your sales pitch and you're confident in yourself, it's going to be just fine. So break the silence if you need to by inviting them to share. Ask a question. What's on your mind? Or how do you feel about this so far? Or, something else that will get them to tell you what they're thinking, where they're at. And it's a great way to get them to start talking. Reaffirm the value of subtlety. If the silence is stretching out too long, gently remind them of the key benefits or how they align with their goals. You don't have to be desperate and jump in and start lowering your offer or, be people pleasing. Just be cool. Take it easy, take it slow. Let it sink in. and acknowledge their silence. Sometimes it's okay to address it directly and say, look, I notice you're being quiet. Is there something specific, not suspicious? Maybe it is suspicious. So I've noticed you're quiet. Is there something specific you'd like to share or ask? This can, build trust and open up the conversation. And it's okay. You're not being weak. You're not being desperate. It is just one of those things where you want to sometimes just call out the elephant in the room. If you mention the price or something else and they go silent and it goes a little longer than you think, then you can ask. It's okay. You need to uncover it. And it's just to show them that they can trust you. You can actually build up trust with them. So how to master handling silence during objections. So when you counter an objection, resist the urge to oversell. Let your point sink in and allow them to react. So you don't want to just counter it and just keep talking. Counter it and let it sink in. And remember, we don't want to fight. If they say your price is too high, don't go desperately in. Pause for a little bit. If they're being, if they keep being, silent, you can break in and say, well, look, I understand that you feel that the price is too high or it's high, but there's a reason for that. And it is high. It's one of the more expensive products on the market. But here are the reasons. And you tell them and then stop. Let them think. Let them react to it. And it builds confidence. Confident salespeople aren't afraid of the pauses. They use them to show that they're in control. And silence can actually make your objection handling more persuasive. You become less desperate, more confident. People do this on stage. If you look at great speech, or speakers, I was going to say speech holders, speakers like Winston Churchill or even Steve Jobs, when he does that, oh, one last thing. He doesn't go, oh, one last thing. He also has, 1,000 songs in it. He goes, one last thing. And then he brings out the best benefit. And this is a very, very classic trick that they use. So to summarize the key points, silence is a tool, not a threat. By leaning into it, asking thoughtful questions, and staying confident, you can turn even the quietest prospect into an engaged customer. Next time you encounter silence, don't rush to fill it. Calm down. You're not desperate. You don't need their business. You want their business. So pause, observe, and guide the conversation intentionally. So look, if you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with your team. And for more advanced sales psychology techniques, check out my Udemy course. It's in the description below. And master the art of silence, and you'll master sales. I'll see you in the next video.